Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, and a good afternoon to all the viewers around the world. It's a very beautiful week. It's a bit sunny, but cold outside, so I do the video inside. Thank you for supporting the Moz. Thank you for being part of this family. I would also like to say that I'm happy that we've reached 1,000 subscribers. So I did this journey. I started this journey somewhere in around June, I think, May or June, where I thought that it was time to share with the world and it was time to break empaths free. So I made a decision to start this page, this channel, and step by step, I'm glad that a lot of empaths have come on board and you've continued to support me, and I really thank you very much. So we've reached under 1,000 subscribers and we're still growing. So for those of you who need a one-on-one, you can always use the information in the description below and address your specific question, and we shall take it from there. For the ones who have always been with me, thank you for being part of the family. And for the new ones who are just joining in, it's your first time logging in, I also encourage you to like, share, and subscribe, and bless you as you do that. So this is your boy Denzomos. Today, it's a Monday, and there's a new vibe going on today. The question came in last week. So one of my subscribers was asking, why does the narcissist tend to hide? Why do they tend to hide the new supply? Why is it always that the new supply just happens to show up all of a sudden out of nowhere? And I say, okay, so that's going to be good. I decided that that's going to be a good one, so I'm going to talk about that today. Now, first of all, the narcissist, they all have that so-called new supply. It is part of the narcissist's playbook. So if you've been into this narcissist for some time, if you've seen the way they operate for a while, you're going to realize that somewhere, somehow, in all of relationships around the world, there is always somebody who they are calling the new supply. And it can also be very hard to accept and even hard to digest, to find out that you've been with the narcissist for the last 10, 20 years. Only for you to find out somewhere down the road that they are actually having somebody new, or even sometimes even they're dating your friends, your best friends, sometimes even they're dating your sisters or even your cousins. So they're dating like very close relatives of yours, even sometimes your immediate best friends. Then you'll find out somewhere down the road that they're having some sort of relationship with them. Now, in this particular question, the new supply, a narcissist will hide the new supply for a couple of reasons. The very first reason is because the narcissist, why they hiding the new supply is because, like I've told you, it's part of their playbook. So the cheating has always been part of their playbook. So for them, they have been like having you as a partner, as a primary source of supply, but at the same time, they have been running behind your back and happen to be sleeping with somebody else. So it's like cheating. It has always been part of their plan. It is part of their playbook. So it is because that number one is because it is what they have to do, because most of those times when you've been with them for a long period of time, they are going to realize that actually you're extracting. It's like you're pulling back a bit. You're like, you're retracting your supply. So it's like you're not giving them that supply that you've always given them, because of course when somebody's abusing you over long periods of time, somewhere they're going to exhaust you, and then you're going to like drag, you know, like pull back a little, you know what I mean? So it's like the narcissist now, they have got to fill in those gaps, because the narcissists they need supply on a daily basis. So they have got to fill in the gaps. So anything what you're not doing at home, it does not matter whether you've stopped probably providing them with some money, or probably you've stopped to have sex with them. Maybe to some extent it's not the same sex you guys used to have, like, you know, like after 10 or 20 years. So they have got to replace you somewhere, and they have got to fill in the gap. So the new supply has got to be hidden, because they are running to those supplies. It can be either for sex, or it can be somewhere, somehow they are taking money from them. So they cannot, first of all, they cannot, and then they are not even ready to engage those new sources of supply, because even sometimes it's very possible that some of those new supplies, they are already in a relationship. So it's possible that they're even married. Because narcissists, they're also known to sleep with married people. So you can find them sometimes dating married. They are dating somebody. It can be a woman who's already in a relationship. It can be a man who's already in a relationship. So it's like they are always cheating, and they're always, most of the time, they're even dating married couples. So at that point in time, it's not even, they are not ready to blow up that cover. So they're not ready to expose or even to introduce officially or even to expose that new source of supply. So they have got to hide that supply for a certain reason. They are not ready to expose them and to bring them out in the open. Another thing I can talk about, why are they hiding a new supply? Because you see, I've always told you in my videos that you will not see, the narcissist can even date a new source of supply for 5 years without you even knowing. They will have somebody on the side without you knowing, even sometimes for 10 years. A narcissistic relationship has got to have somebody on the side. But you see what is happening behind the scenes. The narcissist is preparing because they know that the relationship they are having with you, it has got to come to the end. They like it or they don't like it, it has got to end somewhere, somehow. They know their playbook always. In their playbook is written, it's also designed that any relationship that they're getting into, it has got to end. So what is happening behind the scenes, why you think that they're hiding, why you believe that they're hiding those new sources of supply, is because they're still grooming. There's something what they call grooming. You know, it's like when you're going to have a wedding. There's that process of the grooming. You know, you want to prepare the bride. You know, you to fix the bride properly to see which clothes are fitting. You know, the type of makeup they're going to use. So it's like they are grooming somebody on the side. And as much as that new source of supply is not ready for a relationship with those narcissists, like they have not yet like fully captured their souls, it is not possible for them to introduce. You will never see those new source of supply because the new source of supply, they're still going through the grooming process. So it can be called the grooming process, but also in these other words it can be called so they are still like love bombing. They are love bombing those new sources of supply, even behind your back. So they are like bombing them, and eventually, after some period of time, they are going to be trauma bonded as well. So when they are trauma bonded and they realize that, okay, so now they have really captured them, that's when the narcissist is going to know that, okay, so the new source has been registered as a potential, as a permanent, even sometimes as a permanent source of supply. So where you're going to find out that now, one of the red flags is going to tell you that a discard is due. This one, I want you guys to listen very carefully. The time you're going to realize, the red flag you're going to read that the new source of the narcissist is about to discard you, that is when they're going to start devaluing you. Each and every single day, you're going to find out that they are fighting with you about each and everything happening at home, in your partnership. Anything you do, it does not matter. You can do everything. You can clean the house. You can clean the house double. You can cook for them double. You can give them double sex. You can give them. It does not matter what you do to them at that moment. When the devaluation stage has reached, you have got to know that that's a red flag. The narcissist is now ready to bring in somebody new in that relationship. And now what they need to do, they need to make life very impossible. They need to make life look like so impossible for you at home in that partnership, so that now they can find a way to throw you outside of that relationship so that they can bring you the new source of supply. So that's why you see the devaluation stage is coming. Because the narcissist has been designed to replace you at some point. So they have got to replace you with somebody else. And for them, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It does not matter. The narcissist can just go out on the street and pick up anyone. They don't have time to check around, to figure out these people, are they good for them? Are they even safe? Are they like what? So in my opinion, if you ever find a situation whereby you've started seeing some devaluation sign, you see that there's a problem. There seems to be almost a problem every day. Your partner is coming back every day and fighting with you even about the smallest things at home. The smallest things, even sometimes things you don't need to even talk about. And you find them starting to fight with you, they start to argue with you. That is called the devaluation stage. And in most of those cases, the narcissist is preparing somebody new in that partnership. And the person is very, very close. And even most of the time, even those people, they know about you. They know each and everything going about it. They are just waiting for the right time. The narcissist is already telling them that, okay, you know what? The narcissist is already telling them that I'm going to divorce, or maybe I'm going to separate with with my wife or with my husband, so you just need to give me some time. The new supply has been groomed and been trauma bonded, and for whatever reason they are ready to step into that relationship and to get in the way somehow, and the narcissist is doing all that work behind your back. So you will never find a situation whereby a narcissist is going to come to wake up every day and expose that supply. The flying monkeys will know. Don't be fooled. The narcissist has got those teams of flying monkeys around you. The cousins, sometimes even the family, some of their families. Most of these people, they are the narcissist flying monkeys. They are the ones who know the whole project. Because whatever the narcissist is doing, they have got those confidence, the flying monkeys of them. They may not be, they don't have to be a lot of them. They can be just 2 or 3 or even sometimes 4, but there has got to be a small circle of those flying monkeys who are like informants to the narcissist. So they know everything and they know the whole project. So they know each and everything that is going to happen at home. They know you're going to be discarded and you are the only person in that partnership, the only person in the circle who doesn't know what is going to hit them and who hit them in the face. But somewhere down the road, there's going to be a discard coming up. So you will never find a narcissist all of a sudden telling people about the new supply, because it is for them very important. They have got to hide. They have got to keep them somewhere in the closet. You can find those cases whereby you're going to work, and for some reason, as you set off to work, the narcissist also either may even bring those supplies in your house, in your bed. It can happen. It has happened a lot whereby the narcissist, you've just left. They know all your working schedule. They know the time you leave to go to work. They know the time you come back home. So sometimes they will even have to invite those new supplies at your own home, in your own bed. It has happened a lot. And even sometimes they have to go out and meet those supplies at their houses, at their accommodation. So it has always happened that when you leave, the narcissist also leaves. They know the time when you leave and they know the time when you come back. So when you leave, they leave. And then they will come back before you're at home. So they are grooming. It is a stage whereby they are grooming somebody. They are grooming somebody and preparing that individual, that supply, for a permanent relationship with you guys, because they know that they are going to discard you. But you will never see a devaluation process until the narcissist will know that the new supply, they are ready. They have convinced them enough and they have groomed them enough for them now to be ready to become their permanent, or you know what I mean, permanent boyfriends, even permanent wives, or even permanent girlfriends. So they are ready to bring them in for a full committed relationship. And but because now you're the person standing in the way. If the person has already been groomed, that new supply, if they have been groomed, it now happens that you're the person now standing in the way. And they have got to find a way of sending out of that partnership. And they can only do that by devaluation. So that's when now they start to devalue you. You can find that you're a very beautiful person, very beautiful woman, or sometimes a very handsome man. But they'll come back at home and pretend like you're the worst person they've ever met. Everything you do is the worst. The food you cook is the worst. The way you clean the house is the worst. So it's like everything, it does not matter what you do. You can do everything double or even triple your efforts. It does not matter for a narcissist. It doesn't add up and it doesn't make sense. And nothing ever in that relationship, when they're devaluing you, you have got to know it's a red flag. That they're bringing somebody in that partnership. They are ready to bring somebody in that partnership, and the person is very close. Sometimes it's even your neighbor. You can be shocked sometimes. There are cases, I've heard about cases whereby narcissists have discarded somebody only to turn around and they are dating the neighbor next door. The person, even on the same street, that person has always been seeing you guys every day dating together. And the narcissist will discard you and bring that person who is even sometimes your neighbor. Sometimes even your cousin, even sometimes the narcissist can date your sister. Even your mother, the narcissist would even date your mother. Or if it's that narcissist who is aged, they can even date your own daughters. So there are those kind of individuals who don't have, they don't have any limits. The narcissists don't have limits and they don't have boundaries. They always do everything to the extreme. So you will find them dating whoever is out there. Anybody in their way, they will just date them anyway. If anybody has got a skirt or if somebody has got a trouser, they just date them. They just go in and dive in anyway. They don't care what is the history. That person has been a criminal. That person just came from jail. They don't want to know if they need to check out. Maybe that person. Yes, maybe they could have been in jail. What was the case? Why were they in jail? In jail even in the past? They don't want to find out the details. As long as the person shows up in their face, bam, that's it. They're just going for it. So that's what happens with the new supply. So that subscriber of mine who asked me about the new supply, the narcissist will never ever disclose the new supply to anybody unless you are very, very deeply close with them, unless you're part of that team of the flying monkeys. That is the only way you're going to find out. You're going to find out about the new supply, because somewhere they are going to tell you and you will know. So they can't disclose that information. It's very sensitive for them until they feel that they are ready. They know that that person, they have already agreed. They will tell them that, okay, so I'm going to send out my wife, or I'm going to send out my husband from home. I'm going to, either way, I'm going to discard them. So those supplies, they already know about it, that you're going to be discarded. And they're just waiting for the right time, because they know that the narcissist is ready to send you out so that they can step in. Because they have already been love bombed behind your back, and they've been trauma bonded eventually, even if sometimes they don't know it. So they've already been trauma bonded. The same thing that happened to you is the same thing that is going on with them actually. But it's just because that maybe sometimes they don't even know it. You know what I mean? So they're just going to, like, somewhere down the road, get the biggest surprise of their life, to come in and somewhere down the road realize that actually they have always been dating, they have always been dealing with the narcissist. So in my opinion, the new supplies, if it's somebody, I don't know if it's that person who is the new supply, the very first red flag you should actually even look out for, you can be that individual who is happening to date a married woman. Sometimes you're dating a married man, or even sometimes you're dating a married woman. But the very first question you need to ask yourself, if you're new supply, even if you're on my page, the first question you need to ask yourself: why would somebody leave their husband at home for whichever reason and come and sleep with you for long periods of time? For what reason? So there's always a red flag there to check out. So you always have to check out, that is a red flag, that if somebody is married, if somebody is dating, if somebody is in a committed relationship and they are also happening to sleep with you at the same time, it does not matter what they are telling you, what kind of the story is. It does not matter what story they are going to say in front of you. You have got to have the confirmation. It is a red flag that those individuals, they are most likely narcissists. Most likely. Because healthy individuals, they don't do that. Healthy individuals, you don't just sneak out of your house and leave your wife in the bed or husband in the bed and go sleep with somebody else who even sometimes happens to even know about you. It is the first sign, the first red flag you're supposed to know that actually you're dealing with a narcissist. And most of the time, the same thing that is happening to you, the narcissist is doing with that partner and come and sleep with you. As much as they take you in for that relationship and make you a primary source of supply, they are also going to do the same thing to you. So it is a cycle. If you're on this page and you know that you're in that kind of situation, whereby you're happening to sleep with somebody who happens to be a married individual, they have a husband or even a wife at home, or even sometimes they have a relationship, a long-term relationship, and you know about that, you need to look beyond the story, and you need to understand that the same thing that is happening in that situation, it is also going to happen to you. Should they discard those partners at home and bring in that relationship, that thing is also going to happen to you, because it doesn't make you an exception. It doesn't make you an exception, so it is also going to happen to you. So I hope I've answered that question. A new supply can never be disclosed to anybody. Does not matter. It can never be disclosed until a narcissist is ready to put those sources of supply as a permanent, to bring them in for a permanent relationship with them, but then after discarding you. So that's why the cycle. That's why you see, for the most of people, they have always been surprised. All of a sudden, you've been having a wife for 25 years. You've been having a husband for 25 years, 20 years, 15 years. And you just wake up in the morning, you're like, maybe for you to think you've just had a small fight. They have been programming this fight for a long period of time. They have been programming you for a discard. So you will just think that it's a normal fight like you've always done. Only for you to wake up in the morning and realize that actually you've been discarded. And 2 days, even 1 day down the road, even sometime on the same day, your partner has already brought in somebody new in the same home you guys used to live without even thinking. Now that is the very first red flag. If it has happened to you whereby you've been discarded, and for you just turning around the back and the next day you find that somebody you've been dating for the last 20 years is already moved in with somebody new, that person has always been there behind your back. That person they are dating is not there by coincidence. The person has already known about you. They have known about you before, and they are there because they have been dating. They have been seeing those narcissists behind your back. And the only thing they were waiting for is for you to leave the home so that they can now come in and step into a full-time relationship with your partner. So guys, I hope I've answered that question very well. If you still have a question you need to know, let me know in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. If you need a one-on-one, like I said, you can always get to me in the description box below. There's all the information you need there. Until then, guys, it's been a lovely day to talk with you guys. Much love and blessings. There's more signing out.